We have seen a lot of Nebraska football news drop over the past couple hours. ESPN just released their top 25 for this upcoming season, and it is something to say the least. The Huskers may or may not be included. I'll give you my live reaction to that. And then Nebraska just made the top 5 for a brand new elite 4-star linebacker who's been rising through the rankings. I'll introduce you to who he is for the first time and everything else you need to know about his situation. And then a couple other Nebraska recruiting nuggets. An unexpected 4-star is making a visit to Lincoln this Saturday. He's committing in 2 weeks. I'll give you the details there. An encouraging sign around 5-star safety Tory Pittman. He just said something good about Nebraska in one other program. A couple other Husker targets who have committed elsewhere. And then we'll wrap things up with an inside nugget. The Nebraska coaching staff has been hyping up an unexpected transfer to be a potential first-round draft pick. I'll let you know what was said, who this unexpected player is at the end of the video. So really quick, this is a jam-packed one. Midday Madness. Hit that like button if you're fired up. And also, make my day. Takes 2 seconds. Join this family. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, let's get into all of it. A lot of Nebraska football news has dropped over the past couple hours. A lot of recruiting news that we'll get to in the back of this video. A breakout player the coaching staff's been hyping up at the very end. But let's just get things started with something that actually dropped a couple days ago. But I've been waiting to react to this because it's something to say the least. ESPN has released their FBI Top 25, which is a computer-generated ranking using statistics, algorithms, schedule, roster, everything to come up with the top 25 best teams in America. And Nebraska has made the cut right at that 25 spot. Now, right off the bat, this list is completely terrible. If I'm going to give you my initial reaction, there are 13 SEC schools involved in this ranking. You have Missouri, who should not be ranked. You have Arkansas, who should not be ranked. You have Oklahoma, who should not be ranked coming off of a losing season. You have USC, who's a Big Ten school that should not be ranked. They had a losing season last year. So right off the bat, this is a very bad ranking. I'm not going to lie to you. It's really, really, really horrific. There are a lot of flaws in it. There's a lot of teams who have got snubbed, like in Illinois, who I think should be in here. But I just felt that to say this. That still tells you a lot that ESPN, with this computer program, they're still ranking Nebraska with the season they had last year. And what's also interesting is the advanced statistics. So they expect Nebraska to win 7.5 games, which is right where the betting line is. So that's not too shocking. They think the odds that we win at least 6 games, 86%. That's pretty high. It's pretty high. They think the odds are 86% that we're going to win at least 6 games. Okay. They think the odds we're going to win the conference are 1.5%, which that's not too shocking with how stacked the Big Ten is. They think the odds we make the cultural playoffs are 10%. I'll take those odds every single day of the week. I'll take 10%. So again, that's one thing's interesting about this, looking at these advanced, again, these projections using all of the algorithms that they use. Again, as for the ranking itself, not very good. I think a team like Illinois got snubbed. BYU got snubbed. Indiana probably should be ahead of us still after the season they had, despite them losing a bunch of players. So again, it's just interesting the fact that we're getting more and more respect. I'm telling you guys this. The reason why I bring this up, I don't think the FBI is really that important. It's wrong from time to time. But what's interesting is that when the AP poll does come out at the start of August, when the coaches poll comes out, I do expect Nebraska to be ranked, if not higher. So just get used to this. That's the reason we keep talking about this, because expect Nebraska, when we play Cincinnati, first game of the season, we will be ranked by probably both of the polls. And when we do beat Cincinnati, which obviously cross your fingers, we'll be ranked by both of them, definitely. So just get used to this, because we will be ranked in the preseason polls, no question about it. All right, let's get to the recruiting news, because we've seen a lot drop over the past couple hours. This just dropped literally about 30 minutes ago. A brand new prospect we have never discussed on the channel has named Nebraska in his top 5. This is Calvin Thomas, coming out of Texas, down to 5 schools: Nebraska, the Longhorns, North Carolina, Michigan, and last but not least, SMU. Now, this is somebody who's kind of like a CJ Brana, a complete riser through the rankings for a long time. He was just kind of a mid 3-star prospect, didn't have a bunch of good offers, but he's been bumped up to the 250th best player according to 24/7 Sports Composite. There's a couple recruiting sites who now have him inside that top 200, inside that top 150, and for good reason. He's somebody who plays linebacker. Primarily, he's an edge rusher. He has really long arms. He has a good build on him. He's very skinny, but he's super twitchy fast, very similar to Cameron Wilson, who we're recruiting out of Miami, Florida. And then, again, you just look at the offer list. I always tell you guys, look at the offer list. You got Georgia in here. You got LSU in here. You got Notre Dame, Oregon. That tells you a lot. Those schools will not offer this guy if he was just a mid 3-star prospect. So very similar to CJ Brana. When it's all said and done, he could be a top 100 guy. he could be a borderline 5-star guy. So again, Nebraska, clearly they've been putting in some work behind the scenes. That Nebraska-Texas connection is not dead. Matt Rhule been putting a lot of work there. Now, because of the fact that we're in his top 5, he's probably going to take an official visit, whether it's this weekend, whether it's next weekend, whether it's a midweek visit. Who knows? But expect this guy to take a visit here pretty quickly, and Calvin Thomas. But just a very, very athletic linebacker who can also play jack, can pretty much play wherever. And that's what we need here. We need athletic edge rushers. We haven't had that in a very long time. Let's hope we can land him, but that's some good news. Then Luke Sorensen, I did not talk about him in yesterday's video, but he is making a visit to Nebraska this weekend. This is a 4-star tight end. He should be a 4-star tight end. Probably my favorite prospect that Nebraska is going after at that spot in this class. Now, I told you guys a couple days ago that I expected Penn State to be able to land his commitment. He's committing on June 20th, so in about 2 weeks. But I've learned some more info about this situation. Nebraska actually has a lot better of a chance than I initially thought. It seems pretty wide open. It still feels like it's going to be Nebraska or Penn State, but just know I wouldn't count this one out. A couple days ago, I thought it was definitely Penn State, but what I've heard over the past couple days that he is genuinely still very interested in Nebraska. The coaching staff connection is very tight. The fact that he can get on the field immediately is really a big part of it as well. So Luke Sorensen, Nebraska, still a big player here. Expect him to have a good weekend where we have an opportunity to land him on June 20th. But that's a guy who's a complete freak athlete, 6'4", 250 pounds, can block, can catch, can do just about everything you want. So wanted to give you that nugget there. Then a couple other Nebraska targets who have committed elsewhere. Cameron Hamel, who is supposed to visit this weekend, has committed to Texas A&M. I doubt he still makes the trip to Lincoln. We'll see if that happens. But again, Texas A&M, they offered him some NIL. They said, hey, you got to commit now before you go to Nebraska, before you go to Oregon. And he took that money and he said, heck yeah, I'm going to commit to Texas A&M. So not too shocking. I told you guys a couple days ago that Nebraska, they had to do some catch up here. I actually thought Nebraska would land him when it's all said and done, and they still might because Nebraska is playing for the second commitment on a lot of these guys. They might flip him if they have a good season, but just for now, he's committed to Texas A&M. So not freaking out just yet. Nebraska could flip him if they have a good year. Xavier Griffin-Haynes, who's supposed to visit next weekend, committed to North Carolina. We never really had a shot here anyways. I told you guys that when he made the decision initially. And then Torrey Pittman, we got a good nugget around him a couple days ago. He was interviewed by Mike Sauter, who's a big high school guy here in Nebraska. And he basically said that the two schools that are standing out to him the most this early in his recruiting process are Nebraska in LSU. And he said that Nebraska, that coaching staff connection is as tight as it comes, that he's very interested in this program. He's obviously visited multiple times. He's going to be in Lincoln tomorrow, obviously for the 77 event. So pretty much, if you guys want to know where Nebraska stands, we're probably first right now along with LSU, but just know when it comes to Torrey Pittman, this is a long recruiting process. He's a 2027 guy. He's not going to go on OVs until next year. He's not going to sign the dotted line for a year and a half. We could see a lot happen here, but Nebraska, if you want to land a guy like him, very, very simple. Win football games. And then I like our odds. A couple other things I want to mention. 2028 guys, I didn't mention this. This is a long way away. Like we talk about 2027 like it's a long way away. But we have a bunch of really good 2028 prospects here. Those are guys going into their sophomore year. This is a guy who's probably going to be a 5-star when it's all said and done. None of these guys have rankings just yet because they haven't ranked any of these guys yet. But this is somebody who has an offer from Georgia, a bunch of other programs around the country. So we have a potential 5-star wide receiver in the 28 class, potential 5-star defensive lineman, a potential 5-star safety here in Casey Barner, and then a couple other guys who are probably going to be 4 stars like Quelfeller. These other guys, I don't even know how to pronounce their names, not going to lie to you. So I just want to report that the 2028 guys, still some pretty good prospects here who are going to be future big-time recruits in a very long time. Last thing I want to talk about is we heard a little bit of an inside nugget about Nyziah Hunter. Now, Terry Bratton, who is Nebraska's brand new defensive line coach, he was noted to be telling people, whether that was with the Chiefs organization, he still has a lot of connections there, whether that was with people at the Nebraska University, that he believes that Nyziah Hunter is going to be a future first-round NFL draft pick for Nebraska. He compares him to Sammy Watkins, who was with the Chiefs for a little bit, obviously with the Ravens, obviously had a really good career with the Bills for a while. He was a former first-round pick in 2014, 4th pick in the NFL draft. And the reason why he compares him to Sammy Watkins is because just like Sammy Watkins, Nyziah Hunter is very tall. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he's very compact. Right, and he has great play strength. He has great hands. He can make you miss as well. And not to act like he has bad speed, because he doesn't. He definitely has really good speed. But again, he just does everything right on the football field. So Terry Bratton's been telling people, apparently, that Nyziah Hunter is going to be a future first-round pick, that he has a really, really good potential. And then also Terry Brown was hyping up the defensive line, felt like he was going to be really good. So Terry Brown, we've heard some good nuggets from him, but he's maybe he needs to be a little more tight-lipped because we've heard some stuff from him that's good stuff, definitely good stuff, but in the Nebraska football program probably, I don't know. I mean, Matt Rhule definitely wants to shut things down, but that just tells you how good they're feeling about Nyziah, and that's a good nugget that I want to share with you guys because, again, this coaching staff loves this guy, and I feel like we should talk about him more because there's a reason why they brought him. There's a reason why he had stats he had last year for Cal. So Terry Bratton been telling people he thinks Nyziah Hunter is going to be a first-round pick. Compares him to Sammy Watkins. Also feeling good about the D-line. All right, guys. Want to give you all of that midday madness. Trying to find a title for these type of videos, for these midday videos. I don't know. If you guys have ideas, let me know down below. Also, want to mention, I posted a video earlier today, top 5 most improved players from Nebraska. Make sure to watch that if you haven't. And then, big video dropping tomorrow at 10 o'clock Central, the Nebraska running back deep dive. I posted quarterbacks last week. Running backs, this is going to be a big one. You guys know my concern there. A lot of film, a lot of graphics. Watch that at 10 o'clock Central tomorrow morning. All right, guys, have a great day. Appreciate all of you guys. As always, hit that like button and subscribe. Go Big Red. Go Matt Rhule. See you in the next one.